Number 1. In this question, you will be asked to give your opinion about a familiar topic. After you hear the question, you will have 15 seconds to prepare your response and 45 seconds to speak.
Some people enjoy living in a location that has a warm climate all year. Other people like to live in a place where the seasons change. Which type of climate do you prefer, and why? Use specific reasons and examples to support your opinion.
Begin to prepare your response after the beep. Begin speaking after the beep.
Since I living in Antioquia all my life, and the water here is very muddy, which really like. I would say that I rather
¿Qué hace que un sistema C
prefer
sea excelente? Bueno, no debería ser muy costoso.
prefer to live in place where the season changes than living in location with warm water, especially because tough skin a kind of place allow.
Number 2. In this question, you will read a short passage about a campus situation and then listen to a talk on the same topic. You will then answer a question using information from both the reading passage and the talk. After the question, you will have 30 seconds to prepare your response and 60 seconds to speak.
A new policy for withdrawal from classes at the university has been established. Read the policy in the college catalog. You have 45 seconds to complete it. Please begin reading now. Now listen to the students discuss the policy with each other.
The difference in this policy from the old policy is now you only have 3 reasons to request a full refund after the first week. Illness, death in the family, or military service.
Right, but that about covers it, don't you think?
Not really. In the old policy, you could drop out to help your family. Look, let's say that your mother's sick. She's not dying, but she needs care. Then what? If you drop out to help her, you just lose your tuition.
Oh, I see. So you think that there should be more flexibility?
Yeah, I think every case should be decided on its own merits. This policy is too
narrow?
too rigid. I think at least some students will have other good reasons to withdraw, and they'll just have to take a partial reimbursement because they won't be able to document their eligibility. I'd like to see a procedure, a way to petition for eligibility. I'd like to see that added to the policy.
The student expresses her opinion of the policy for reimbursement. Report her opinion and explain the reasons that she gives for having that opinion.
Begin to prepare your response after the beep. Begin speaking after the beep.
The reason why this student is against the policy is because in her own words it might difficult for some students to make their specific situation fall into one out the categories that
Te
the
cuento que yo soy ingeniero civil. Actualmente me desarrollo como consultor.
that the policy of she believes that since science every case has in one peculiarities each case should be measured and reviewed with what talking
Number
into
3. In this question, you will read a short passage on an academic subject and then listen to a talk on the same topic. You will then answer a question using information from both the reading passage and the talk. After the question, you will have 30 seconds to prepare your response and 60 seconds to speak.
Now, read the passage about ballads. You have 45 seconds to complete it. Please begin reading now. Now listen to part of a lecture in a music appreciation class. The professor is talking about the Ballad of Barbara Allen.
There are countless versions of the Ballad of Barbara Allen, and although it probably originated in the British Isles, versions are found not only in the British colonies, but also in many other countries, including Italy and several countries in Scandinavia. In fact, there are almost 100 versions in the United States alone. But the version that I'm going to play for you today is the traditional child ballad, number 84, from the reference English and Scottish Popular Ballads. In it, the narrative tells the story of Barbara Allen and the young man who fell in love with her. After Barbara Allen rejects him, he dies of unrequited love. And the day after his funeral, Barbara Allen dies of regret. They are buried beside each other in the churchyard, and a red rose grows from his grave. A briar grows from her grave. That's a thorny bush. And as they twine around each other, the rose and the thorn, they form a lover's knot. So we see that the lovers who were not united in life are together in death. The music is repetitive, like most ballads, and also important to identifying it as a ballad, the second and the fourth lines of each four-line stanza rhyme.
Define a ballad, and then explain why Barbara Allen can be classified as a ballad.
Begin to prepare your response after the beep. Begin speaking after the beep.
Various point taken from very old oral traditions that are sung to music. Since they are taken from oral tradition, they change from author to author. This is we bar all in
Esto es $7,000. $7,000 es lo que gana un latino.
is classified as a bad due to its many versions around the world and its story which tell about Barbara Allen and young men who fell in love with her making it.
Number 4. In this question, you will listen to a short lecture. You will then be asked to summarize important information from the lecture. After you hear the question, you will have 20 seconds to prepare your response and 60 seconds to speak.
Now listen to part of a lecture in a general science class. The professor is discussing the way that ultrasound works.
Okay, let's talk about how ultrasound works and how it's used in medical diagnosis. To make a long story short, ultrasound is very similar to the sonar devices we discussed last week. Remember the system that emits ultrasonic pulses and listens for reflected pulses from objects in the ocean? Well, ultrasound is really just another type of sonar. The sound waves used in the ultrasound are created by a crystal that moves rapidly back and forth, creating a sound. But you can't hear it because the frequency is so high. The doctor places the device, the transmitter that sends out the sound waves. The doctor puts that on the surface of the skin, so the sound waves are transmitted inside the body. And when this high-frequency sound is directed to a particular area, then the tissue and organs reflect the sound. The patterns of sound that are reflected are processed by a computer, and an image appears on the screen. And that tells the doctor whether there is something unusual there or not. This is very important in the diagnosis of cancer, to know whether a tumor is present, and also as a non-invasive way to monitor the growth of a fetus during pregnancy.
Using the main points and examples from the lecture, describe the kind of information that ultrasound can provide, and then explain the way that ultrasound is used in medical diagnosis.
Begin to prepare your response after the beep. Begin speaking after the beep.
Ultrasound gives doctors important information, such as if something unusual or not is happening inside our bodies, which allows them to give people a clear diagnostic about possible tumor, illness, or on the good side, have the fetus is growing.
I've lived in a place with a warm climate all year for most of my life.